Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're using a team that I actually lost to a couple of days on Road to Ranked, featuring Alolan Persian and Tapu Koko. The idea behind this combination is to basically go for Fake Tears, Dynamax Tapu Koko, and do a ton of damage with Max Lightning. That's coming from Thunder as well, so stronger base power than usual. And you can really just pick up one-hit KOs on a lot of Pokemon in the format with it. So that combination is really strong. I struggled against it when I played against it a couple of days, but to round out the team, you've got some other cool stuff like AV Landorus, Lefties, Leech Seed, Celesteela, kind of a classic set going all the way back to 2017. Analytic, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Eerie, Impulse, Recover, Porygon, which is really interesting, so no Trick Room, which is kind of standard on it, and then Electric Seed, Gastrodon with Earth Power, Ice Beam, Clear Smog, and Recover. A lot of interesting things here. Gastrodon also is a Pokemon that can potentially Dynamax, right? And you can go combo Persian with Gastrodon, Fake Tears, and, Max Ooze, get special attack increases, and then Earth Power and Ice Beam give you a lot of good coverage against the majority of the format. By getting a defense boost, Gastrodon's really difficult to KO as well, and if you get the defense boost as well as the special defense boosts from Max Quakes, it just becomes an absolute tank, and in the late game can really just alt-style teams. Gastrodon, Porygon, and Celesteela are all really bulky Pokemon, and have abilities to heal as well, so the idea is to kind of chip away, pick up these big knockouts in the early game, and then have Pokemon that are just too bulky to deal with in the end game often. Landorus is a great Dynamax Pokemon here, though, as is Celesteela and Gastrodon. I think Koko is the main Pokemon you want to be maxing most of the time with Persian Koko, but, if your opponent has a way to counteract that, then Landorus, Celesteela, and Gastrodon are all potential Dynamax candidates as well. So, thank you to the original creator for posting this team. You can find them linked in the description below on Twitter, and it's rental, so feel free to try it out yourselves. Also, I think they were able to get super high up on the ladder with this team, which doesn't surprise me. There are a lot of cool tricks, especially in best of one with this team. Fake Tears alone on Persian is cool, plus, slightly slower Tapu Koko. But then you've also got Eerie, Impulse, Analytic Porygon, as well as the Clear Smog, Electric Seed, Gastrodon. So, a bunch of fun things here. Either way, thank you guys so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like in the video, and I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, with this team having a bunch of really interesting sets, especially that Porygon too, I'm curious what the craziest set you can remember running into in Series 7 so far has been. Let me know in the comments below, and let's get started with today's episode. I think that, for me, I actually don't remember. I don't know if I have a really good answer for that off the top of my head, and maybe you guys could answer it for me based off the teams we've gone up against in Road to Ranked. So, alright, let's get started. First game here, it's against Trick Room. I'm not super happy about that just because I think this team's Trick Room matchup is not ideal, and my opponent's team is basically like hard Trick Room. It's basically use whatever resources possible to get Trick Room up. That being said, I think the Celesteela is really good here. I'm just slightly sad because I think Persian Koko is probably not the way to go in this first game. Maybe that's fine. I wish Porygon had Trick Room here so I could reverse it, but we don't. Because honestly, I think the way to play around this is to Dynamax Celesteela or Gastrodon. But, that's why the team is built the way it is. It's not like you need to always rely on just Dynamaxing a certain Pokemon. So I think if you're my opponent, you'll probably go Indeedee, Dusclops, or Indeedee. I mean, there's so many different permutations of Pokemon you can go with. I think, like, Amoonguss Dusclops is fine. That may actually be a problem, I guess, because then I can't really do really good damage into you. I want to expect the Indeedee lead, so I don't want to lead Tapu Koko. I think Landorus, Celesteela. We probably don't bring Persian here, because we don't even have Taunt on this thing. The only thing we're really doing is going for Foul Play. Fake Out's not going to be great into a team with Psychic Terrain. So I actually kind of like Landorus plus... Actually, Landorus Gastrodon's pretty interesting, because what I can do with Landorus Gastrodon is pivot out, U-turn, and then go into Tapu Koko to get the Terrain up, guaranteed, and then get Electric Seed up as well. But I think we have to Dynamax the Gastrodon or the Celesteela here. This is just not the best matchup to lead Persian Tapu Koko immediately. And that's fine, you're not always going to, be able to lead the main combination of your team. And so you have to figure out best ways around it. It is just going to be Indeedee hat. Okay, I don't mind that too much, to be honest, because I think you have to follow me here, right? You have to... actually, do you? I didn't lead Celesteela, so maybe you don't. Oh, who do I Dynamax in this game? Huh, that's the other question. Could even Dynamax Landorus, but I don't really like that idea, especially with the Glastrier waiting for us in the back. I think it's just going to be a U-turn here into the Indeedee. Just maxing here is actually really compelling. I don't know. I think it actually might... Well, it's just a Dynamax Celesteela looks so good into my opponent's team. Like, that's my main hesitation here. I could always just U-turn Earth Power into Indeedee, get Celesteela in. But the one thing I have to worry about is Hatterene with Max Flare, right? Yeah. I'm kind of down to Dynamax Gastrodon. Because I think it's gonna be pretty bulky for my and tough for my opponent's team to deal with. After a special defense boost, I can change the terrain by switching in Koko as well. The only concern about bringing in Celesteela is if my opponent goes Max Flare with the I don't know. Celesteela does do well even in non-Dynamax form against my opponent's team, which is part of the other reason I wanted to go for this. They don't protect with Indeedee or follow me, but that makes sense because I think they're just going for an expanding force here. It is a citrus. That's not great. Yeah, it's not great. I think I'm gonna just switch into Koko here. I think my opponent's going for expanding force this turn and Trick Room. Yeah. I think it's gonna be expanding force Trick Room. I'm just gonna Quake. It's not going to KO, though. I was hoping U-turn plus Quake would KO, but with that boost, I don't think it will be enough. Yeah, it's just Expanding Force. That's fine. I mean, we don't really take that much damage. More importantly, we get the special defense boost. I wonder if I could have doubled up on a hat, but I don't think U-turn Quake KOs that. Yeah, Indeedee survives with a bit. Maybe that's okay, though, because it means my opponent doesn't just get a free switch in on the first turn of Trick Room, which may be valuable here. I do also get a special defense boost on that Tapu Koko, right? So, like, here I could go Max Ooze into the Hat or Indeedee and then Volt Switch, I think. Seems okay. There is merit to going for another Max Quake here, but even after a single Spadef boost, I think Hatterene's not that scary right now. And I don't think... Oh, they actually are going to max it. Interesting. Okay. The question is whether Hat one-shots... it's going to be G-Max Hat, and now we're playing around Confusions. Like, G-Max Hat's probably one of the most frustrating Pokemon to play around, because it's like... There's not really great counterplay if you don't have terrain. You're just hoping to not get fully confused. Or not fully, just hitting Confusion. Yeah, they're just going for Smite. Okay. See if Koko survives that with the Spadef boost. Yep, it does. Nice. That's huge. Because I think if we avoid the Confusions here, we're actually in pretty good shape. Because I'll get a Ooze off, and I'll get a Volt Switch off. Let's see. Nice, okay. Gastrodon does not hit itself in Confusion. That's a big one, actually. Just because if that hits itself in Confusion, then Indeedee probably just knocks out the Koko. So, that one's probably the more important one, and we got it, so that's good. I honestly thought my opponent would want to Dynamax Glastrier in the back. So let's see if we get this Volt Switch off. +1 Volt Switch in terrain would be very nice. Wow. We actually managed to get both attacks off. You don't see that every day. That's huge. That's very, very good. I think it's got to be Celesteela coming out right now. Yeah. So this is why I wanted to get the Gastrodon boosted up, right? Like now we have +1 defense, +1 special defense, +1 special attack. This thing's actually kind of a beast. Terrain is also up, so even if you have a Amoonguss in the back, you can't really Spore. And they bring out Incineroar. Interesting. I guess that's their answer against Celesteela, but that's okay, I think. Because I think what I want to do here is just hard pivot out the Celesteela into Landorus. Do I want to, actually? What does that accomplish? I think it's better to actually just protect here, now that I think about it, yeah. Just protect and Max Quake into Incineroar. Because Landorus can be pretty good in this endgame just by clicking Earthquake. Because my opponent does not have a ground resist. Okay, they just went Fake Out. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe Flare into that slot. Okay, they're just going to go Mindstorm. That's fine. Yeah, you can see how well Gastrodon takes that with that special defense boost. And if we don't get Kid and Confusion here, not only do I think I probably KO Incin, but I also get a Spadef boost. Which would be huge. Nice. Gastrodon snaps out of Confusion. Okay, we definitely got fortunate this game. I mean, that's the thing with playing around Hatterene. Like, you're just hoping you don't get confused on these turns, and it can be really, really scary. But we were fortunate that out of... Like, we didn't get hit on Confusion either turn, and then we just snapped out immediately. So that was literally the best case scenario. But that's the thing. With Hatterene, like, anything can happen. You can be confused for forever. Everything can hit itself in Confusion, so it can be really scary, honestly. And Glastrier is my opponent's last one, as expected. I honestly was surprised to see Incineroar come out, because I thought Glastrier would have at least put on a little bit more offensive pressure. Spadef boost here is actually really interesting, but we have +2 special defense and a defense boost. I think Landorus Celesteela should win this endgame for me, right? So I think I can go into Koko here to reset the terrain and click recover here. Because I don't think I really need Koko at this point. Koko did its job in this game by setting up the terrain for Electric Seed Gastrodon. And I think with Landorus plus Celesteela, if the Hatterene reveals Flare, then it definitely does not have Protect. So that's one of the big questions I have. Can we bait out a Flare into a Celesteela slot this turn? Nope, they just go Mindstorm into Gastro. Ooh, double up there will probably still KO. But even if it KOs, I just Protect with Koko the next turn, right? So I think it's fine. I mean, just bring out Celesteela, double Protect. I guess Glastrier might get an attack boost here, though. They're going to Ice Go Crash into probably Gastrodon. Yeah, nice play. And even with the boost, unfortunately, it's not enough for us to survive. But that means you don't, like, set up a Sun with Max Flare, right? And I think that's a big deal. Your Dynamax is also over now. So I can just go out into Celesteela. And Celesteela should win this endgame in this 2v1 position, I think. Especially because I can intimidate the Glastrier. So this next turn, I think, is just a double Protect. I think that's pretty safe. Yeah. The tricky thing, though, I think, is like Glastrier will be able to get another attack boost. That was a great play by my opponent last turn. If I just stayed in with the Celesteela and attacked, like Leech Seeded Glastrier, things would be looking a little better, but it's fine. Like, we had enough of a lead to work with here in this game, I think, that I wasn't that worried. Okay, they crash. And they Trick Room, but that just turns it back to normal, right? Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's fine by me. I haven't seen the last attack on Hatterene, so I do think it's likely it is going to be Protect, but I'm still going to double up onto Hatterene, because I don't want Trick Room to go up again. Even if you Protect here, I bring in Landorus, and they don't Protect. Okay, huge. Nice. Okay, Koko actually survives that. For better or for worse, I mean, Landorus is going to go down here to an Ice Go Crash, but I don't think I need Landorus, because Celesteela wins the 1v1 against Glastrier. That's one of the many reasons why Celesteela is very good in the format right now. So, the return of Gastrodon in the first game today. That's pretty fun. Okay, that was Babiri. For a second, the animation didn't go off. I was like, am I missing something here? It does not work. But that double up guarantees us the knockout. Beautiful. Yeah, the lack of a Life Orb helped us here, too, because it meant Hatterene's damage output was significantly less. That actually gives us a Beast boost now, which is very nice. Although it's actually a special defense boost. That's interesting. I thought it'd be defense. I should have double-checked the stats. So that's fine. Like, oh, they actually target Celesteela. Interesting. That makes a lot of sense, actually, because, like, Celesteela is the win con at this point, right? So you kind of need a crit onto it. So actually, yeah, I think that's a really good play. I can U-turn here to go out into Koko, but I think, honestly, getting a Volt Switch with Koko is probably better in this endgame. So, Fly is actually a pretty cool option, because it buys me one turn, basically. Yeah, I'm going to Fly and Leech Seed. Because I think you Ice Go Crash in this position into Landorus. So by going for Fly, I buy myself a turn. If Leech Seed connects, it's basically just game over. Yeah, nice. Because there's no way Glastrier can do enough damage at this point. Unless you crit the Celesteela this turn. But, yep, they went for Ice Go Crash on Landorus. Perfect. Okay, we were definitely a little fortunate in this game, though, right? I think not getting fully paralyzed, or sorry, confused on any of the 3 chances that we could have made this a lot easier. So I'm happy about that. I do have to respect the weakness policy here. But you can't do enough damage to everything that I have right now. I just don't know what's stronger between Flamethrower and the Heavy Slam here. I would think Flamethrower, but I'm not 100% confident here. They don't have any attack boosts. I don't think a +2 Ice Go Crash should KO us. So even if you Ice Go Crash and you target the... Yo, I'm actually curious about the Heavy Slam damage. I think we have enough damage output to win anyway at this point, so I'm just going to go for Heavy Slam. That Fly animation's pretty sick, by the way. It actually does really good damage in Glastrier, too. Okay, Celesteela gets the Heavy Slam off. Let's see. Yeah, it's not exactly great damage there. So it activates a policy, but that's fine. Yeah, You know what I actually think would have been a pretty cool play there? Self-Leech Seed, just to cover. Because I think they probably target the Celesteela here. Oh, no, they go Landorus. Okay. Well, that should secure us up the game then. Because now I can bring in Koko and just Volt Switch Flamethrower. Leech Seed damage should be enough to pick up the win. The correct play is to always bring out Koko and double protect first, and then go Volt Switch Flamethrower, just so we get that extra Leech Seed damage. But Self-Leech Seed could have been a pretty interesting play there, just to prevent activating a weakness policy. I actually think that's probably the better play there. Just because, like, let's say, we knew they were going to be policy, right? I mean, I think the odds of that are super high. So, let's say they crit us with Ice Skull Crash. Then it's going to be full HP Landorus and Tapu Koko with 3 HP against this Glastrier. I can't really click Earthquake, so I'd actually probably be relegated to clicking Rock Slide Volt Switch. Now, that probably just picks up the KO if the attacks hit, but then I'm reliant on maybe hitting a Rock Slide. Because then I faint from the Volt Switch chip. Actually, I don't even think we need to protect here. This double up should pick up the KO. If I weren't confident on the damage calc, I think double protecting is safer, but we know we're faster than the Glastrier, and yeah, Volt Switch with Life Orb is enough, so yeah, no need to prolong the game there. Celesteela was huge here for us in the end, though. I can see, though, why my opponent was more willing to Dynamax the Hatterene, given that it did have the Berry. I'm very curious if it had Max Flare, because the lack of Fire-type attacks made me wonder what the damage option against Celesteela was here. So, yeah, this was not a game where we could just go with the Persian and the Koko. Oh, we can actually check the sets here. Eviolite, obviously Clear Smog, Koba Berry, Citrus. Yeah, the Citrus was kind of annoying, made it tougher. There was Mystical Fire. Okay, I guess they just never went for the Max Flare. Being able to one-shot Instant was really nice, and then, yeah, Heavy Slam policy. So, kind of a long game, but I think, yeah, this would have been completely different if I hit myself in Confusion and Gastrodon. So, that's the scary thing about Hatterene. Without, like, a Tapu Fini, I can't guarantee that, you know, to prevent the confusions, and I think that was really scary here. But, fortunately, we were lucky enough to not get confused. And granted, you know, with Hatterene, like, the odds are more in your favor because Confusion is, you know, 1/3 chance, but spread over multiple Pokemon over multiple turns, it's very likely something will hit itself in Confusion. This feels like a decent game for Koko and Persian, honestly. Yeah, I like Persian Koko a lot here, so I'm glad we get to go with that duo. Honestly, the Porygon's very interesting here, because I get an Analytic Ice Beam into Landorus and Zapdos, which is very compelling. I think it's got to be Celesteela as the last one because of the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn alone means that you... Like, anytime you see Ferrothorn, Celesteela, any of these really bulky steel types in Team Preview, you have to ask yourself, what is my best answer to it? Do I have a way to hit it for super effective damage? If your answer is no, it's going to be a really tough matchup to begin with, and then that's actually more of a team-building issue. And, you know, the answer should be yes, and then you have to basically bring your answer, at least in a best-of-1, I would say, because... For example, if I don't bring Celesteela here, I kind of just get 4v1 by Ferrothorn completely. But Flamethrower Celesteela is clutch enough to, you know, be able to deal with Ferrothorn. I was playing some practice games earlier, though, and in my head, I thought Flamethrower would just guarantee a KO onto Ferrothorn, but that is not the case. So it's not like Ferrothorn... I'll just insta-win if it's Celesteela versus Ferrothorn, because if Ferrothorn is Iron Defense, gets a bunch of those off, I may actually... Like, I need some chip damage onto it to guarantee the KO with Flamethrower. So I need to keep that in the back of my mind. It is going to be Grimmsnarl and Landorus. Okay. Grimmsnarl and Landorus. What do I want to do here? Honestly, the play I'm leaning towards, we also confirmed that Landorus isn't Scarfed and we're faster, which is, you know, obviously good to know. The play I want to go for here, honestly, turn 1 is Fake Out Volt Switch into the Grimmsnarl. Now, I could go Fake Tears, right? And... Max Starfall into Landorus. But we have a Porygon and a Celesteela in the back, so I don't mind playing a little bit more passive here, turn 1. Let's go Fake Out, because Grimmsnarl running Protect is so rare. Now, granted, we actually went up against one of those the other day, so it's not like it's completely unheard of. But this is pretty safe, even if my opponent goes for, like, a Max Quake onto the Persian. That's fine, I can just Foul Play you next turn, so... Fake Out Volt Switch, go out into Celesteela is pretty safe, because Celesteela does really well into both of these. Now, I guess one thing I could be worried about is a potential Swords Dance on Landorus, but if you Swords Dance, Foul Play just does so much more damage, so I don't think that's actually really a problem in this position. The one downside to this double up is if Grimmsnarl actually has... Oh, do you have a switch in? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I was like, if there's a way for you to actually deny me from just switching out outright, that would be bad, but... As you can see right now, my opponent's team is super weak to Celesteela. Like, none of the 3 Pokemon they've brought can really do much to Celesteela. So I'm also glad I did not commit a Dynamax there immediately, because I think late game Dynamax Koko could be really good. So it's tempting to attack there, but right, if I just go Fake Tears and max Starfall, if Landorus is AV and it maxes, it can just knock out Koko in return, so it's absolutely not worth it there. You always want to kind of get information from your opponent's side, see what kind of team they are. It's probably U-turn here then? Oh, they just Rock Slide. Okay, it's fine by me. That is not much of a problem. We are in really, really good shape right now just in terms of board positioning, so I'm happy about that. Are you lefties on Ferrothorn? You're not, which is interesting. I can't see Ferrothorn staying in against us here. Like, I think it's pretty safe to go Foul Play into the Landorus and Heavy Slam into that slot. There's no switch in there other than, I guess, Zapdos. That could be a slight problem, I guess. I'm down to Foul Play Heavy Slam. I think that covers almost all of our options, though. I guess Landorus could Dynamax here, but I don't think that's super scary. I do have to be aware of the fact, though, that if I lose Celesteela, I will lose the game against Ferrothorn. So right now, I'm not targeting Ferrothorn because I feel like it's really risky to just stay in front. Like, what are you going to do against... I guess you could Leech Seed here if you don't really respect the Flamethrower option, so... Yeah, they switch out, though. Okay, nice. Oh, what could be interesting here is if you U-turn and then you pivot out Ferrothorn into that slot. But we'll Foul Play beforehand anyway, so it's still so much damage. Foul Play is such a good attack. And they just Rock Slide. Okay. We take those. Like, they're not really doing any damage to us right now. And we don't flinch either, so that's huge. So I get the double up there onto Landorus. That's a KO. That's also a special defense boost for us. So that's nice. What was the main offensive threat on my opponent's team? Zapdos, right? But with Zapdos, I can just Fake Tears with Persian, Dynamax Zapdos, and then Max Lightning it. So I'm not super worried about that. This is definitely a very big change of pace from the teams we've been using recently, which is part of the reason why I wanted to feature it. It is a little slower, and it's actually very like VGC 17-esque, which I think is kind of fun. Okay, so Ferrothorn comes out. I mean, I'm honestly down to just go for the safe Flamethrower here. In fact, even go for Fake Tears Flamethrower into Ferrothorn. Because, like, what is Ferrothorn doing? My opponent doesn't have offense that scares me enough right now. I feel like they needed Zapdos in this game, and they haven't even brought it out yet, which makes me think perhaps they didn't even bring it into this matchup. Which is kind of surprising, because, like, I don't know what their Celesteela answer is otherwise, and this is what I was saying in Team Preview. Celesteela is, like Ferrothorn. It's one of those Pokemon where you see it in Team Preview, and you're like, okay, I need to bring my answers to it for sure. They also don't Fake Out here, so I just get another KO, I'm pretty sure. Even if you're AV, I think this double up with Fake Tears should pick up the KO. Alright, that's huge, because I think Tapu Koko just wins the game now. So Grimmsnarl is offensive, it looks like. Maybe Spirit Break into the Persian? Yeah, it is. Okay. No complaints here. Persian is so good in this game. Oh my goodness. He even hangs on with 1 HP. And that's the other cool thing you can do with Fake Tears, right? Like, don't just lock yourself into the idea of going for Fake Tear setups with just the Tapu Koko. You can pull it off with Gastrodon and Celesteela on this team as well. It is Zapdos, so I don't know why they brought out Ferrothorn first. I feel like they should have just brought Zapdos out immediately. I'm not going to complain, though. I think that's obviously puts us in a really good position, but kind of surprised. Ooh, the Porygon is so good for us here, actually. So good. I'm just going to go for a Fake Tears here into the Zapdos, and I'm just going to protect the Celesteela. I think that's a really safe play. Zapdos can't really set up in front of us. I think it's likely to Dynamax Lightning into Celesteela. We have those Def boosts, so I want to say maybe we can even survive a Max Lightning. So I don't think I needed to protect here, but I feel fine protecting because Porygon plus Koko puts us in a really good endgame position, especially if Persian gets that Fake Tears onto Zapdos. So I feel like ultimately we had a really good lead, so that was good right from the start. And what my opponent basically needed to do was pivot out into Zapdos safely, but it was pretty hard for them to do that. I think if they had U-turn on Landorus, they could have made some really good plays to like bait damage out into that slot and then U-turn to get Zapdos in freely. So I'm not sure if they didn't have U-turn or if they just didn't go for it, but we're in really good shape right now. Let's see. I actually think they should probably Airstream, but to be honest, I think like I might even Dynamax Porygon in this game, honestly. Okay, Grimmsnarl reveals Taunt, that's fine. So we've seen Fake Out, Taunt, Spirit Break. Wait, did we see Fake Out turn 1? Turn 1, turn 1, turn 1. Grimmsnarl. No, they hard switched. Good play. Okay, they correctly went for Airstream. Nicely done. Yeah, honestly, low-key, I might Dynamax Porygon here. Like, Analytic Porygon in with Max Hailstorm against Zapdos with -2 SPDF seems kind of nice right now. Seems kind of nice. I guess they could Spirit Break to lower our special attack, but I think I'm going to go for it. Because it's honestly more consistent than Dynamaxing Tapu Koko right now. Because regular Tapu Koko does mighty fine in this matchup. So, yeah, let's bring out Analytic. Let's max. Actually, I could just go for an Eerie Impulse, but no, I'm down to Dynamax and just Hailstorm. And Heavy Slam, Grimmsnarl, I think is fine. Actually, Leech Seed is kind of fine here, too. Because I don't care about Grimmsnarl, right? That's not really doing any damage to us. We've seen Taunt. Oh, I guess, I mean, they might just Taunt us again this next turn. So I guess because they reveal Taunt, Heavy Slam is probably the better play. But this is a cool example of a game where you can keep your Dynamaxes flexible, and now we get to Dynamax Porygon. So the thing with Persian Koko, you should only Dynamax Koko if you can guarantee a knockout on turn 1. And with my opponent having that Landorus out on the field, I didn't think I could guarantee the knockout, especially if they have Assault Vest. Plus, you know, if you go for Starfall, you do get rid of the Electric Terrain, which means further Max Lightnings do less damage. Oh, they have Fake Tears as well. That's very cool. That is very cool. Well, this should be a KO then onto us. But that's fine. I wonder if Hailstorm KOs with Analytic and the Special Defense drop. I honestly think there's a slight chance it might, but let's find out. Okay, Porygon gets the Max Hailstorm off. How much does that do? Not enough for a KO, sadly, but pretty good damage, so I can't really complain. So Fake Tears Taunt Spirit Break, presumably Fake Out. And it's Goggles Zapdos? Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, fine by me. Porygon just wins this by itself. That's why I wanted a Dynamax Porygon, by the way, too. I think, like, it's just bulkier. And because my opponent had Fake Tears, actually, like, Dynamax Koko maybe could have been, like, not super good here in this end game. But now we can just protect Koko. Even if my opponent goes Fake Tears, Max Lightning into Porygon, Porygon's definitely surviving that. So it's just a very safe Max Hailstorm and a Zapdos protect here. Yeah. I wanted to see Dynamax Porygon get a one-hit KO, but 80% damage onto Zapdos is pretty good as well, I would say. And that's one of the other combos you can go with this team, right? I didn't even mention that, but Persian Porygon is something that people don't expect Porygon to do a lot of damage, right? And the fact is that it's actually a pretty nice Dynamax threat with this team. So, a lot of fun stuff you can pull off with this team. And it's funny, right? This team initially, I was like, it's just Persian plus Tapu Koko, but we haven't even Dynamaxed Tapu Koko yet. Yeah, they go Fake Tears Airstream into Koko. Nice. I think we might have even survived that. No, actually, sorry. They get the Fake Tears off. I don't think so. How much damage did that do? I missed it. Like 25-ish or so? Yeah. But Porygon is always going to win in this endgame in a 1v1 position. So really interesting. The last couple of days, we've gone up against Grimmsnarl. It's not been the support, like, screen set. This one was Fake Tears, Fake Out. I just feel like, yeah, if my opponent just brought out Zapdos over Ferrothorn initially, they would have been in a lot better spot. Because I got a free KO onto Ferrothorn. Celesteela just absolutely dominated this early game, which was nice, because normally that doesn't really happen, because there's something putting on a lot of pressure against Celesteela. Now I can actually max Lightning with the Porygon as well. And Gleam. And so, like, even regular Koko's been able to put in a lot of work for us, which is nice. I wonder if this KOs, actually. Oh, it does. Nice. I am curious about how much a Max Lightning in terrain with Analytic would have done into Grimmsnarl, but I suspect they were going to go Spirit Break into Porygon, so I don't think it would have had that one-shot potential I was kind of hoping for. So, I think I played a couple practice games earlier before recording this, and I think I was definitely not utilizing the team to its full potential. And one of the reasons was because I was initially very hard set on just Dynamaxing Tapu Koko in most of my games, but I didn't even think about the option of Dynamaxing Porygon until we ran into the scenario in this game, and it actually ended up being pretty good. So, yeah, I think if you're trying out this team, Persian Koko is, like, a very good lead into a lot of teams, but don't just, like, hard lock yourself into that, because there are a lot of different combos you can go with. What about Persian Koko here? They have a Landorus, so Koko doesn't really like that. Regieleki, I don't want to set up the terrain for that, actually. That'd be really bad. This is a really interesting team from my opponent's end. Like, it's really fast with the Regieleki. Actually, the only I mean, Porygon's the reason why I'm like it's interesting here, because like for the most part you're pretty fast, but then I guess Porygon Torkoal gives you a Trick Room mode, and since you're gonna run Torkoal with Venusaur, you might as well have something that can also potentially set up Trick Room. So it's one of those teams that it's just like you have both ends of the spectrum, and it can be really tough to deal with both. I actually think this may be a Dynamax Landorus game, given how well it matches up into the majority of my opponent's team. Now, the only thing I'm worried about by Dynamaxing Landorus is Porygon. So Porygon comes out, I might just go like U-turn, for example. Dynamax Landorus looks really good here, actually. I think it's going to be Gastrodon in the back. I don't have enough damage output in a 1v1 against Porygon. That thing is going to be a huge nuisance to deal with, honestly. Unless I like Fake Tears nuke it with like a, I don't know, Koko maybe. I don't feel great about Celesteela here into Regieleki and Torkoal. So we probably don't bring that. The main reason I'd bring it is for the matchup against Porygon, but I guess Porygon outstalls us anyway, right? So I guess I'm going to go Koko Gastrodon here. Yeah, I think the opposing Porygon's a big problem because this team, for the most part, can deal with a lot. That's why I also felt forced to bring Koko and Gastrodon, because at least I can one win con in this late game is Fake Tears Porygon a bunch, and then just like hit it with well, I guess one of the scary things is if you don't Dynamax Tapu Koko with this team, you're relying on Thunder, which can be kind of scary. Regieleki Venusaur. Oh, I mean, this is not bad. Like, this is honestly not bad at all, but what does my opponent go for turn 1? Like, it's really free to fake out Max Quake Regieleki, but I could see Regieleki switching out into Torkoal. And I really, really fear a Sleep Powder turn 1 onto us. So, the play I'm actually leaning towards most is fake out Venusaur. If you Dynamax it, so be it. You don't do that much damage. I can max Airstream Venusaur. That covers every option, I think, actually. Yep. Torkoal? That's a good switch. But that's okay, I think. Especially, well, I guess if Venusaur maxes, actually, it's not okay. Because you can go G-Max Vine Lash onto Persian, and I just got baited into attacking. But I'm glad at least I didn't Quake or Rockfall into the Regieleki slot. Because right now, Landorus looks really good against what my opponent's brought. So this is why leading is really important, right? Like, I think we did get the better end of the lead in the last 2 games, and in both games I've had one Pokemon that applies really good pressure into a lot of my opponent's team while not taking much damage in return, which has been good. They are going to Dynamax Venusaur, okay. Good play on their end. Yeah, I got outplayed there. But I didn't have a super safe play, honestly. I think this is still our best play. It's just a shame, because that's a great Landorus switch in. But I don't know how I counteract that, because I think Venusaur applies so much pressure, I have to go for a somewhat safe play turn 1. And, like, Fake Out Airstream will still do a sizable amount, right? So it's not, like, the end of the world. And once again, the Fake Out was to... Is it Koba, too? Oh, my goodness. Wow. That's just overkill. This is going to do, like, 15%, probably. Actually, more damage than I expected, to be honest, so I'll take it. Because the cool thing is, after another Airstream, we'll outspeed the Venusaur even under Sun, which is nice. This also makes me think they didn't go with Porygon in the back, but I don't know. Wow, they actually Vine Lashed Landorus. That's really good. Because... my only question is whether Foul Play Airstream KOs Landorus on the opposing end. I don't think it does, but maybe that's fine. I've got Koko Gastrodon in the back. Gastro's amazing against the Landorus, actually, so we should focus on beating the Venusaur, I think. Yeah, I think I'm down to just Foul Play Landorus and Airstream the Venusaur here, I think. Maybe Landorus switches out into Torkoal. Oh, they Max Guard, actually. That's a nice play. I mean, double up there would have... Double up onto Landorus would have been really nice. Yeah, I think Airstream would actually probably still KO there. So maybe I should have gone for it, because like Venusaur is not really that scary right now, especially without like a Life Orb. They U-turn. I think we survived this. Yeah. Double up there, maybe we just would have like insta won us the game, but I didn't know if it was going to KO the Landorus. That's a damage calc I should learn. Is Regieleki coming back in? Yes. Okay, Regieleki. I can't help but think I misplayed a little bit there then. Do we outspeed Regieleki? I think we might, right? The thing is, I don't want to get baited into Quaking in that slot. I'm down to Parting Shot the Venusaur and Airstream that slot, I think. Because if Venusaur is out of the way, then it's all about Gastrodon. Oh, they're still faster. Okay. I didn't have a... Oh, I did have a switch in there. I could have gone Gastrodon. But I don't think that... Doesn't feel super good. Their Life Orb Regieleki. Interesting. Man, if I just Airstream Landorus last turn, we would have been good in this game. Koba was also... Yeah, I think you bring in Landorus now for another Intimidate. Yeah. Really messed that one up then. I also didn't expect Koba. That is not super common on Venusaur, but that's a really cool move to have here. Now I wish I had the Porygon. Wow, that's still really good damage from Airstream, honestly. We're at -2 attack, but we're still doing a good amount. Okay, I'm sure it's just another Vine Lash, yeah. I mean, you can Ooze there for a special attack boost, but meh. I think it's Koko here, right? Yeah. I mean, I could just go Dazzling Gleam Rock Slide. The question is whether that would be enough to pick up a KO. I hate that I'm setting up the Electric Terrain for the Regieleki, though. But Gastrodon has a very good endgame if Venusaur is eliminated. Also, they never brought in Torkoal, which makes me think they actually are playing this game without Torkoal. So then what would the last Pokemon be? Let's take a look. Oh, also, wait, do we feign from Vine Lash damage here? Oh, shoot, we might. That could be a problem. That very well could be a problem. I also don't know if it's Scarf Landorus yet, right? Scarf Lando, like, the play I'm actually leaning towards here is because I think the Venusaur protects. It's like, I want to protect and then U-turn here. Because then that prevents Landorus from fainting this turn. But if they go for a Grass-type attack onto the Landorus slot, I'm doomed. But I think I also need to scout out for Scarf here. I might have missed it. Maybe they revealed they weren't Scarfed earlier. Because Rock Slide Dazzle is the play I really wanted to go for here. But okay, they protect. Good. Good. Because the win call I'm playing towards right now is the Gastrodon win condition. As much as it pains me to get rid of those speed boosts, like Landorus is fainting here anyway. So let's go out into Gastro. This also gets the Electric Seed boost. I feel like I played well this game other than not Airstreaming Landorus. Like, that was a pretty free target that turn. Yeah, I think I like... And they just Rock Slide. Okay, that's fine. I'm more than happy to see Rock Slide come out there. Oof. My only question is whether a Volt Switch can KO Venusaur. In terrain, I'm fairly confident it will, but... I don't know. I don't know. Oh, it definitely should, actually, looking at the range that it's at. Yeah, so I think I just Volt Switch here and Ice Beam this turn. It's going to be a close end game, because what I'm worried about is Urshifu being my opponent's last one, because they can just crit through, so... Okay, Landorus switches out. Oh, I should have Earth Power that slot. Oh my goodness, they did have Torkoal in the back this whole time. Wait, they're just going to knock out Gastrodon here. Oh, they Sludge Bomb. Wait, that's actually a good play, too. Oh. I just needed to KO the Venusaur to win there. It's always Volt Switch Ice Beam in a Venusaur. That was a big mistake. Well done, sir. They didn't bring out Torkoal at any given point, but they never really needed to. And I think I got a little baited into thinking they didn't have it in the back because it just never came out. I thought they could have brought it out to just guarantee to outspeed us. But I can see why they didn't. We definitely had the right Pokemon to win this, but I did not play it right. If I just Ice Beam Venusaur there, actually, this would also totally be winnable. But that should be the game. Really, really good play from my opponent there. Not Airstreaming Landorus really cost me, because like even if I don't pick up the KO, would have given me a speed boost and would have let Persian be faster than the Regieleki, which allowed me to parting shot. So you can see how one Max Guard can make or break a game here. Really good play with the Venusaur too. Wow. My only hope is you Sludge Bomb? Okay, yeah. Here's the one win con I can see. You Sludge Bomb Landorus, we survive because we're Assault Vest. Like, you don't target Gastrodon, but you also don't want to miss a Leaf Storm onto the Landorus. Or missing Leaf Storm is a win con too, but they hit it. Yeah, actually, we played towards our win con there. Like, it's a 10% win con, but if they miss, I Fly and Ice Beam, KO Venusaur. You probably have Solar Beam on the Torkoal anyway, though, so. If somehow Torkoal doesn't have Solar Beam, Gastrodon could 3v1 this position. Gastro was so good. All I needed to do was eliminate Venusaur. I didn't do that fast enough. But they had Solar Beam too. Okay, yeah. Then this was actually going to be a pretty tough one to win. I needed to get more out of my Dynamax that I did not in this game. Turn 1 was good. Turn 2 was not. I think I brought the right Pokemon, though. Celesteela cannot come out into a matchup with a Regieleki. And I mean, it's not like it can't, but it doesn't feel good. Like, Regieleki, Torkoal, that's really shaky. Yeah, Koba Venusaur wrecked me here. And the Vine Lash damage just adds up, right? Like, I needed to... There was no reason to go for that Airstream the second turn, because I don't think it was going to pick up the knockout anyway. We were intimidated, so I got baited into doing damage when I didn't really need to do damage. Let me think about what I could have brought in this game. Porygon actually may have been pretty good against what my opponent brought, especially because Urshifu didn't come out. Dynamax Porygon could have been pretty sick in this game. But the Urshifu scared me enough that I didn't want to bring it. So if I were to replay this, would I go with the same Pokemon? Let me think. What did I lead? The lead felt good. I was happy about the lead. The lead was great, actually. Yeah, I felt compelled to fake out because I was really worried. If my opponent Sleep Powders Landers as I Dynamax and they hit, we lose the game pretty much. Like, it's just so hard to come back from that if we don't get our Dynamax off in that game. So I think turn 1 playing it safe is still okay. My opponent just made a really nice play by going into Landorus instead of Torkoal. Like, I thought when they switched out turn 1, they were going to go into Torkoal. So because they didn't have to bring in Torkoal this entire time, I was like, oh yeah, like, I don't think you even have it in the back. So it's like if my opponent didn't have Torkoal, we would just one-shot the Venusaur, and then I think Gastrodon wins that game for us. But they kept it hidden the entire time, which was a really, really good job on their end. So I should have thought about that harder. But even with that, I don't know what I would do differently. Because I think with Torkoal, the Venusaur locked itself into a really good late-game win con. Yeah, the Koba bulky set was really interesting as well. So I think the one thing I could have done differently in this game, okay, a couple of things. One, bring, like, it starts in team preview, maybe bring Porygon over one of the Pokemon I brought. I guess Tapu Koko in the end was actually really useless for us. So I wanted to bring it for... The thing is, because I needed to respect my opponent's Porygon too. If I don't bring in Tapu Koko, it feels like I can't do much damage in a Porygon. But perhaps my Porygon could have worked. It's just, if I go with Persian, Landorus, Porygon, and Gastrodon, I do so little damage to the opposing Porygon. So this was an example where I didn't feel like I had the perfect 4 Pokemon to cover for every option. And, of course, if I brought Porygon, this game would have looked better. But then if my opponent brought in Porygon, I would just be like, oh, okay, now what? But perhaps my opponent didn't need to, like... Yeah, perhaps, like, they don't feel compelled to bring Porygon because they already know that our team is kind of slow and they can outspeed us with Sun. So, yeah. Actually, this team is not really that slow. I mean, you have Koko and Persian, but then Venusaur gives that a large amount of trouble. So, yeah. Anyway, I think this team showed its flexibility, right? Persian Koko is like the main combo, but we didn't even Dynamax Koko once today. It was Dynamax, Gastrodon, Porygon, and Landorus. And all of those were the best Dynamax candidates. So I'm looking forward to probably getting some Dynamax games in with Koko tomorrow. But definitely some fun games and some fun setups. And I thought Alolan Persian was really nice as well. So thanks as always for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to try out the team. Link is in the description below. And rental code is down there as well. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. All right. Peace.